Did you know that your lungs tell a story about their health well before you exhibit symptoms like a persistent cough or a wheeze or even have an asthma attack? Hello, I'm Stacie Ruth. I'm co-founder and CEO of AireHealth. AireHealth is an innovative digital health company. We're empowering people and improving respiratory care in the home. We do that with affordable drug delivery, symptom tracking, and early detection of respiratory decline with our solution, VitalBreath. In short, AireHealth saves lungs and saves lives. Specifically, we support 150 million people in the US that are respiratory compromised to stay at home and to also be more proactive with their care. But who are these people? They're individuals with asthma, COPD, respiratory viruses such as COVID-19. This population accounts for $130 billion in annual healthcare spend, and those costs come from examples like COPD patients. 46% of them will go to the hospital in a year. 22% of that population will go more than once to the hospital. So I want you to know something about AireHealth before I continue. We were a medical device company before COVID hit, and we made a very big decision to shortcut 36 months worth of product development, and we bought a company. We bought a StartUpHealth company called Breath Research. We're now ready to go into pilots with a complete respiratory care platform, as opposed to being a medical device company, something to be proud of. So I want you to know about this vulnerable population and why they have such intimidating outcomes and experience such a high cost of care. They often receive delayed diagnoses, and this results in delayed treatment, and they also have a lot of unnecessary hospitalization. Our virtual care platform, VitalBreath, along with companion applications and our FDA-cleared respiratory devices, can be the answer that the market is seeking. So unlike other companies in the digital health market today, AireHealth can tell you if your lungs are performing better or worse than they were yesterday. If you're responding to your therapy, if your symptoms have escalated to the point where you need some form of intervention. The market calls this remote patient care, and it is reimbursable through insurance today. So what I also want you to know is these patients are always in one of these four states, and their journeys are distinct, but they're very common. Patient self-care is what we're driving toward. Escalating symptoms that happen in the home, we want to provide a second set of eyes. We're really focused on going to market in post-acute care. This is after someone's been in the hospital. And there's also a market that we'd like to get more involved with payers and the high utilization of respiratory disease as a chronic condition. So we make money by providing our FDA-cleared devices, a nebulizer, and soon to be a spirometer, to payers and to providers. And we do this from prescription to billing in a revenue sharing model on a PMPM basis. And as you can imagine, this market is huge. It's projected to be over 13 billion, but our slice is already 2 billion in the US. And we'll grow revenues next year to 2 million and with the January launch of VitalBreath. The AireHealth team also really rocks, and together we have large company experience. I myself came from Philips, and small healthcare and med tech experience, 150 years combined. I personally have those 20 years of healthcare experience, and we have in-house product development, regulatory, and commercialization experts. We also have a lot of IP, 4 patents pending, and since announcing the acquisition of Breath Research, interest in our company has been through the roof. We do have an ask. We're seeking 2.5 million to round out our seed round, and we also want you to help us achieve our goals and our fullest potential, particularly if you would be interested in piloting, if you're a provider or a payer. Thank you for your time. I hope everyone is well, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Stacie, you've chosen to focus on COPD and the post-COVID lung condition. Are there plans to tackle other chronic lung diseases?
Yes, so a lot of my experience over my 2 decades was in commercialization of products. And what you do is pick a very narrow lane in your go-to-market strategy. And that very narrow lane is a post-acute care focus on COPD as a use case. But there are many, many other parts of this respiratory compromised landscape that you can easily translate the product set and the business model to. So we will focus on asthma. We will focus on very distinct parts of the population. And as you bring in more of the social determinants of health, that will help us pick the next use case, the next use case along the way. So it won't take long. Maybe into Q2 of next year, we'll start to take those pilots and evolve into more use cases.
Awesome. So Vince Coley, can you come off mute and introduce yourself? I think Vince is interested to learn more about your sales pipeline.
Okay. By the way, just a very engaging and excellent presentation. I did not sleep, but I was super excited. That was a poor joke. I would love to know your 90-day pipeline, if you don't mind.
Yes, so we in the next 90 days, we actually have a second device coming out of the FDA. Okay, so it's a connected nebulizer. And we also are building our pilot strategy right now. So we have 3 pilots that are engaged for Q1 of next year. And it is actually a set of revenue generating pilots, because this RPM business model, remote physiological monitoring in the home, is a reimbursed business model right now. So we are going into those pilots. Those 3 pilots, 2 of them are going to be to build the commercial model validation, and 1 of them is around clinical validation. So it's not so much a sales pipeline as it is the preparation for pilots, but they're revenue generating pilots.
So they're paid pilots, right? Just to clarify.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kayam Wakil, can you please come off mute and say where you're from, what firm you're with, and ask your question.
Sure. My name is Kayam. I'm with a small little boutique investment firm called Nowhere Venture Capital. But I was curious on, I noticed that there was an AI component in the service, and then noticed the 35 biomarkers. Are any specifically for voice utilized in signal processing, where I'm analyzing voice samples?
They are. They are. It is actually, there is a significant piece of IP that is around the biomarkers are created from an acoustic place. So to answer your question, it is voice-based, it is acoustic-based. It's a dual sensor spirometer that does traditional lung sound analysis, but also adds in the acoustic piece of it. So utilizing the acoustics through a specialized spirometer, we have reached and have studied under Mayo Clinic and established 35, either you can use the term descriptors or biomarkers, but they are based on sound.